Ember Esports. Welcome back, guys. After a banger of a game one there, the Spaghetti Spire boys come out with, it's kind of hard to say though, a comeback victory, but honestly, TPO was kind of in the lead the entire time there for the most part. The Spaghetti Spire being able to find their way back into it and to take it back as well is one not to scoff at. I am your host, Huey. With me is Isaac Katz as we are going to our game two here for our Emerald League division. What do you want to see from Misfits so we can get to a game three?
Personally, not picking red side, but
right.
That's more of a personal thing. In my opinion, I just think blue side is a little bit better. I mean, I guess if TPO, if they want, I mean, obviously they want counter pick that red side brings. From what I got from like scouting these two teams and like what I think they'll play, I don't know how much of an advantage that TPO will get out of switching to red side.
I mean, the numbers don't lie. Okay, the numbers don't lie. Blue side is win side. I also think it's a little weird coming from losing a game one. I definitely wouldn't want to be put onto red side there myself. But hey, maybe they know something that we don't. That's why they're playing. That's why we're casting. You know, as we do dive into this first round bans here, looking exactly the same for both ends here.
Yeah, that's not too much of a surprise with Fearless. I think, even though I am a big fan of Fearless drafts in general, Fearless series, the one distinct drawback that you get is that the first three bans are almost always the same.
For sure.
Game. And this hasn't changed at all through the series set. Oh, Jinx is different though.
Got us hit there with the caster curse. I think that's a good call there. Excuse me, I can't think of their name. Sicko goes on piloting the MF. I wouldn't want to put Jinx into their pocket as well. But then you see Talia there, which is a great pick into the mid lane. Ziggs played fantastic into the mid, and to be honest, Ziggs is not on my radar in terms of mid laners who are OP. So now we both mentioned Talia here. That's an upgrade right there for sure.
Talia, one of the, if not the premier mid laner champion right now.
I can say that.
In the meta, not to mention Pineaholic is very, as I mentioned before, at least in the last draft, is that very experienced in organized play and does really like playing the mages. Like that, it just seems like a slam dunk B1 if you give that up.
Yeah.
If you don't ban it away as TPO Misfits this time around and you give Spaghetti Spire blue side, that's just the choice.
Yeah, no. I'd have to agree with you there. TPO is going to match with the Flex Viger pick. I think it's safe to assume that that's going to be their mid laner. It could be their support, as we do see Wukong going to be picked up there for their jungler. Interesting pick here. I kind of see the circle wombo combo synergy that we kind of saw from the Cataclysm from the Spaghetti Spire as well too. Not as strong as the Magnet Storm Cataclysm. Granted, it is again draft Fearless, so they won't be able to kind of match the same to a T plan, but they could kind of get the same idea kind of going with the Cage and the Cyclone there.
Yeah, I think they're very similar sized as well in terms of. We got a reaction out of the Trundle pick, Huey.
I like it though.
Okay.
I like it. You get the you get the ice AoE there. Oh, that helps just to break down Wukong. That helps break down if a tank picks up there. It is slight flex, but I'm almost sure Trundle will be going into the jungle. And I mean, he is a tower demolisher anywhere you put that troll.
Yeah, and then linking up with the Varus, a very standard ADC pick.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, Varus is up. You slam that in when if TPO aren't taking it on their side in their first round of picks. I mean, getting Talia and Varus on the side of Spaghetti Spire on blue side. Obviously, the game isn't won in draft. You have to play it out.
I don't know.
The start of this draft has been I'm personally not as big of a fan of this early trundle, but getting Talia and Varus on their own, like regardless of what that third pick is just insane value from blue side.
Okay, so let me hit you with this one then, Isaac. Not Trundle, who would you put there? Let's say Trundle is jungle, because I'm almost for sure they are jungle.
It's almost certainly jungle. I don't know. Off the top of my head, it'd be Olves. Wukong was already taken away. Never mind. Vi.
Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to see.
Vi with Talia. Vi's available.
I'm starting to see a little more Vi as well too, right?
Yeah, like link up Vi with someone who has like a lot of mage, and plus, Vi gives that lockdown, which makes the seismic shoves that much easier. I think I would have personally preferred to see a little bit earlier from the side of Spaghetti Spire, but and I mentioned this yesterday, the lower down in elos that you go, the more important comfort is. And while Emerald is definitely a higher elo than bracket than we saw yesterday, I still think comfort does play a decent amount into what you want to draft for these two teams. It's the reason why I think TPO Misfits went Veigar so early, even though I'm personally don't think it's like the strongest champion, but I know Orion has played a decent amount of it in solo queue, and so
we saw the comfort pick of Ziggs last game. We saw how comfortable that is. We also saw it in the Urgot pick there. Just a one-trick knowledge matchup there in the lane made a huge difference there. So, I mean, all the way up to any tier, I feel comfortability is better than just those first timing having to pick into meta because it's meta. As we do get into this last round of ban and into this last round picks here, we do have Galio Sion going to be taken off the board there for TSS as we go and look over onto TPO, and that will be the Mundo and Aatrox. Very huge, high target tank bands there as we do rotate down onto the bottom for the last picks. We're going to get the Mordekaiser as TSS's top lane. Seraphine will be their support. Morgana, respectively, as well, going to be matching into the bot lane with Cho'Gath into the top lane there for TPO. Overall, I know, Isaac, you enjoyed the first round from TSS, but the TSS come to deliver as well too overall in this draft pick.
Yeah, TPO Misfits, their draft is a bit unorthodox, and I think the R5 Morgana here is a bit odd. Especially when, I guess, maybe if you throw it on, it helps into Mordekaiser. I'm pretty sure does the Black Shield stop Mordekaiser? This is questions we might get answers to.
I think it does.
Because I think it technically like initially counts as CC. So
I think it does. And then you also have Sivir Spell Shield as well too. So that should kind of help a little bit, kind of doing some of the survivability in the fights. Maybe dodge that Chain of Corruption, that seismic toss into the team, possibly. It's iffy. I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think TSS did kind of run away with this draft, but like you mentioned yourself, Isaac, just because the draft was won doesn't mean the game is won. As we start to get ready to load into game number 2. Ember League, ladies and gentlemen, game 2. There's no pause here. There's nothing but heat as we get onto it. TSS will be on the blue side, win side. TPO suggestively and wanting to take the red side, a little unorthodox there. But let's see. what they have cooking up in the kitchen here as we start to see where everyone is going to pan out here. The line of skirmish, or excuse me, yeah, the line of skirmish there is pretty even. Let's see if they try to get some cheeky poke, or if they try and get some cheeky vision there.
Oh, wait.
Oh, as they try to bait Orion kind of there, tries to get the poke there. He just wanted to get the stack so bad. They're going to have to force a flash out of Orion there. And oh, man, not a great start there for TPO.
Yeah, and I think Orion, I can understand why you don't want to flash so early and why he held it as long. It's like, I understand it, but sometimes you just gotta realize
that you're in a bad spot.
The wall, you flash over the wall, and you just go, well, unlucky. And so now with as low as health he gets, he also loses his teleport this early on.
Yo.
It's losing teleport this early. It's not instant doom, but it's certainly not great, especially if he takes a few like unfavorable trades, especially with how strong Talia is right now. It is not ideal for us.
No, you're already on the back foot, and you put yourself on a further foot, I guess, is where I'm trying to go with it. I think this kind of takes away the question. Where do you think the jungler is going to gank first over for TSS? The choices are infinite here.
You know, now that you say it, we haven't quite yet. There's obviously a lot of things to consider, but as you mention that, I mean, I don't know. If you can get a like solid positioning in like the bot lane before like a good pillar,
yeah,
do some work, but I don't exactly know how necessary it is, or could it just be in the mid lane?
It has to be. I mean, where else would it be? Glacier gonna go down, the wave's gonna go through. Orion, no flash, on the run. The evil genius villain himself trying to get away. The pots are ticking, and there goes the snowballs from Pinaholic. He is paying. You can hear the pings. You don't see him, but you can hear him. First blood gonna land on TSS. I mean, you kind of did it to yourself, Orion.
Yeah, and no teleport as well from waiting to use that flash means that it's not great, right? you hate to see it,
right? On the
usually an early first blood like that, you just go, oh wait,
nice. As we check over, Moonshot just felt so comfortable. It's fine. He's just a little dinosaur. He's what, level 3? He's not going to do much to me. But no respect to the CC and no respect to the minions is going to get Moonshot that first death in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I didn't even recognize that was an angle that could have gone down. 8,000's here for a gank.
Psycho Ghost pushing up a Warm Tongue. Spidey senses were tingling. He does get caught onto that ward there. TP onto, or excuse me, dash forward onto it. Warm Tongue going to have to flash away from the Q there. TPO starting to get some of the tempo, some of that momentum shifted back into their favor. Not as much as I would like to see, but hey, at least it's a little something.
That is a little something. No flash on Worm Tongue. On the Seraphine, bit immobile, so a potential target to go down to and punish onto. Oh, that double ward is. It's not doomed, but you kind of hate to see it. But I know we do have potential like targets all over the place. Moonshot's he's not giving up despite having killed.
You saw that Conqueror kick off right there, and just being able to soak up and kind of win the trade there. But look over around, you're pulling a little too far there. 8,000 is there. Not going to go forward. Moonblast, no TP, no flash, is just going to get eaten alive by these animals in the top lane.
Yeah, again, really just good targeting for ganks from these junglers early on, recognizing where there aren't flashes, where there aren't summoner spells to get them out, and Moonshot not respecting the potential gank Thinking 8,000. Well, Wukong doesn't typically look to gank until in around 6. I mean, that's obviously with the Cyclone gets his ganks a lot more stronger there, but without Flash, there's more than enough setup if Linksy can land those Qs, and does so there.
Yeah. As we go look over to it, Orion going to force that Flash out yet again. ALVS gonna get the troll, get the munch, beat on up on this tiny Yordle, but yet somehow, some way, the level up's going to give him that advantage, that heal, and TPO definitely now back into the driver's seat here. 8,000 going to read Pineaholic like a book, gonna get away from that seismic shuffle toss there and be able to pick another one up for the side of TPO, who's doing relatively well on this red side.
I mean, that whole entire exchange in the mid lane was back and forth. See, so I could have sworn with all standing there like near the tower range, under the baby cage there, that I thought for sure was a mistake, and then all of a sudden Orion decides not to respect it, doesn't die, and he's mentioned got the heal off the level up. That gave him enough time for 8,000 to come in and flashing over that seismic shove as well, really well. Done there. Wait, hold on. Linksy's in.
Yeah, quick trip over. First clash trip to Brazil here. Linksy kind of winning out the trade there, trying to hope that minions was going to give him a bit of an advantage to look for that execute, but he's still going to have to respect that moonshot damage there, even though he's down 2 solo kills here.
Yeah.
Oh, the knockup coming through, the flash forward, the shield in, come in, there goes the passive over for Moonshot. He's trying to finish it with the metal particles there, tries to get the Q metal bung, but misses it there, as we do get a dance around of these Titans here, and there's the shutdown as the behemoth Linksy finally going down.
Yeah, and I was didn't quite get to finish my thought, but that was just more of a good demonstration of it, is that even though Linksy got those 2 kills early on, Cho'Gath doesn't exactly have a lot of power in his kit until he can start stacking up the chomp, where he starts to get the extra bonus health. Wait, Orion's here in the bot lane. Zico Ghost could be in trouble.
Nice rotation there, but just gonna drop the cleanse and keep it moving there. Zico Ghost doing a lot better in the early game than game 1.
Yeah,
as we do get a slight pause here. We do see the Void starting to get picked up there. Ward Wolf spot ALVS. Pineaholic keeping 8,000 at bay, so they cannot force and get just jump over the wall for free there. Pineaholic just pushing them back here. Moonshot coming in as well too. Linksy gonna get pulled by the hook, passive going through, dropping down the balls as well too, and 8,000 taking a lot of damage, and that is not the clone. That's going to be 2 for free for the side of TSS, plus the Void. TPO, yet again, did it to themselves. Weaver Wall coming through as Pandabo is here for the rotation. The shield is going to come up to keep Orion up for a bit longer. Orion now just going to try to make it a 1-for-1 trade, and that's going to be a 3-for-0 for Voids.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, they're pretty much perfectly played by Spaghetti Spire, but Linksy just not really recognizing the amount of trouble they were in this early on. And before Cho'Gath starts stacking up his ultimate, it just it just doesn't really have any survivability.
Impact.
Even though Cho'Gath, known of as a tank, he does need that there, and just walking in the middle of 3 enemy team members, it's going to get you punished this early on, as the Cho'Gath gets it there, and the rest of TPO Misfits just not recognizing that they just don't quite have the power available to take on a numbers disadvantaged fight.
It looked good, honestly. It looked good for their side. Just didn't close out properly. I think they got a little overzealous, kind of targeting Moonshot there. I feel the execution was just off there. It didn't seem out of the realms of possibility of happening for them. The execution was just off, honestly. And hopefully they can just kind of dust themselves off here. It is just about a 2K gold lead right now for TSS right now. The objectives about even right now. So I guess where I'm trying to go with this is, what does TSS need to do to continue keeping this momentum, this tempo on their side? Where do you want to see this action go next?
I mean, obviously the next point that is coming up is in fact the next rate coming up in about a minute. I mean, the amount of extra early strength that TSS has, I think they should just be able to move down to it, get the second objective, get themselves within one objective of claiming the beach of entirely. It's a great seismic jump from Fine Holly.
Nice catch there. ALVS is gonna just take the long way around to drop the ice, as Orion kind of getting out of that gank relatively healthy.
Yeah, it does have to use the flash for that, and on Veigar, not having any sort of ability, is especially big because of just the amount of ALVS.
Nice pinch here. That is going to be the 4 drop there. The Encore going to come in as well too. Weaver Walls over onto the side to try to help them out. Pandable, it will be the one to pick up the jungler there, as 4 members of TPO start coming down the river onto Wormtongue and Pineaholic. They try to get that seismic shove, but they do not get it. The root going to land onto Wormtongue, and that boomerang coming heavy from the side of OC to pick up 2.
The idea is what I wanted to see out of TSS. Is that
yes.
The next point of pressure will be that Drake. Oh!
Nice. I don't know if that killed though. Did that kill?
I'm not sure if it was W empowered or not. If it was, it probably does. If not, probably not. But Pandaboat really has no way of knowing. So
better to be safe than sorry.
Better use your flash and not die than find out the hard way by going
right. No, you're right. No, you're definitely right there. So, but as we get this slight pause here, we're gonna go look over at the CS, and TPO in the lead right now in terms of kills, but that CS deficit in both mid and jungle are starting to kind of spread a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously a huge fight that went to the way of TPO before that. Second Drake was claimed, did help put gold into their pocket, and does help that this Sivir is farming extremely well. Wait, hold on. Moonshot, take this.
He's taking a second trip over to Brazil. I think that knock-up flash is going to be more than enough to give him the space to kind of keep himself away. 8,000 is going to get caught on that Tri-Bush control ward. As we kind of start to look over and gather our thoughts for a moment here, because honestly, from the gate, from 49 seconds, it's been nothing but heat over here at Ember Esports, as Linksy, taking some damage here. Moonshot trying to keep the lane over onto their side. They're just going to try to continue pushing forward this advantage as we start to see some items build out here.
Going back to the earlier point with the extra gold, at the very least on the side of TPO, as well as that fight going their way. Wait, that'll be fine.
Nah, freak you.
They're fine. Is that that OC has managed to farm up very nicely.
Right.
Until Sivir will outscale this Varus, who's going for a poke build this time around. I understand what the idea is, with Tilly, you get a decent amount of range. Wormtongue will keep you healthy of anything in return. It's not exactly on the side of Spire, on the side of TPO. They don't have. Wait, hold on. What the heck?
ALVS just kind of hanging out there. 8,000 just going to try to go over the wall and just going to crash into a troll. The Encore going to continue pushing forward for this concert for the side of TSS, as Linksy is coming down to try to catch this troll and get himself a little bit of food in the belly, but he's going to hop his way on over. But OC putting on the damage. Wormtongue on the run. Pandabolt going to pick up yet another kill there as the chains coming down to CC, trying to lock down this big medal of monstrosity himself, as they are going to have to retreat back here. Rick Harold will be the play for TSS as they pick up another objective and get it under their belt here, unless Panda Boat has something to say about it. Oh, big dunk there. And I don't think you should have said anything. I think you should have just let it go. Lynxie, trying to keep their support out of danger, is going to have to pay for their sins with their life. That's going to be another kill in the pocket as they pick up yet again another objective.
Yeah, it just... I think, especially on the back of that fight, you just got to let that go. As Panda Boat, and I mean, to a lesser extent, Lynxie. I do get I do understand the urge to see your teammate in trouble, and I can respect the I gotta help him out mentality. But you know, sometimes the correct play is just let it go and try to regroup and move on from there, and just wasn't done from the side of TPO, and really at the very least. Oh.
8 getting caught yet again, just trying to do their job as a jungler. Gonna get spotted onto a ward there. The tackle going to go through as we see this mid tower going to fall. That's actually going to be the first tower at a near 17 minutes, technically 6:45 or 16:45.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just kind of more indicative of how this game has been slightly headed towards, and importantly, it is the mid tower. I think mid tier 1 does help out a lot with starting to choke out the enemy team a bit more, especially if you can push them back into their own end. You can start taking away jungle camps and increase your gold intake while decreasing the enemy teams a lot easier. So hopefully they'll push onto that, and just with the next strike coming up in 30 seconds as well. With that push, you can push the just deeper into the map, and it requires a more timely response around, well, both objectives, but I mean, namely the one coming up right now is this Mountain Drake, but
Whoa! Psycho Ghost going to just kind of walk around. That's not your neighborhood anymore, my brother. You got to be careful when you're walking around those streets there. Gonna have to force the cleanse and the walk away there as we start to get the last couple seconds there. But we're going to get a slight pause in the action here. And that gives us a little bit of time to kind of go over everything real quick to see how everything is overall right now. TSS in the lead in gold, in terms of gold. Not in terms of objective per se, but kind of weird though. If I had a nickel every time that it was Earth Soul, I'd have 2 nickels. It's not a lot, but it's kind of weird that we're getting Earth Soul back to back, no?
I mean, let's see here. It's a 1 in... Do quick math. It's 1 in 6. It's a 1 in 6. Well, no. Because it depends on the first 2 drakes, so it's not exactly when it's... I'm not going to try to math out the exact...
It's kind of rare. It's pretty rare. For the back-to-back, it's pretty rare. But I think we are good to get back into our game of 2 here, as we do see the 4-man group here. Dragon Ace spawn. They do have vision control as well, too. ALVS does not know they are there. There goes the root as they do get the opening. The KJ is going to hold them down, but that Seismic going to push back that Orion and is going to force them back. Knockup going to go, and it's not looking good for our guys in red right now. TPO going to continue the fight, going to continue pushing forward there. Good cage as we do get our boy Moonshot pushing forward there, and our guys TPOs are just getting melted left and right. That's 2, that's 3, and we're looking for the Ember Ace. As the Weaver Wall comes through, OC on the run, puts the spell shield, gonna start playing from shotgun range, and I don't know if that's gonna be the call, and that's going to be the 3rd Ember Ace of the night, ladies and gentlemen, as TSS yet again picks up an objective and gets some free kills in their pocket.
Wormtongue's Encore found 4 members of TPO Misfits, and being able to land that much CC into Sivir and Morgana it's criminal.
Yeah, no, it's criminal and it's crippling. Like,
yeah, and with the Drake going over to the side of The spaghetti Spire. Uh, it's further their way. Obviously, now sitting at around almost just over a 4K gold lead.
Oof.
There is any
Oof.
solace for the side of TPO. It's that Sicko Ghost doesn't nearly scale as hard as he would otherwise if he didn't choose a lethality build. So I
Mm-hmm.
think this team comp might start to fall off a little bit, and especially in comparison to TPO's composition with the Sipper, with the Vagar, should be relatively all right if it goes long enough. But with how these last few fights have gone for Spaghetti Spire, getting to that point, certainly going to certainly looking
That's
like
the
a
uphill
challenge.
battle. That is the uphill battle TPO is looking at right now. TPO right now is that small meme of "Are you winning, son?" And it's like, "No, dad, but we scale." And the issue is, can they get to that scaling time, like you mentioned? And it's not a worry if TSS can close. Orion with the TP. Tower going to fall, and that's going to be another pickup. You heard the question mark pings there themselves there. Like, you heard them themselves, man. I don't have to push more onto it there. Always a very difficult position to be, playing from behind and playing in organized events too. A lot of pressure is on you to perform above and beyond. Especially now, it's not on solo queue. You're not only going for yourself, you're playing for yourself and your friends and your teammates there. So always a lot of pressure on the players there, but you always got to try to keep that level head there and make sure that you can think of plays and is this the right call? And if it's not the right call, to try to avert it and try to make it the best call.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of an ongoing story, at least in this game from TPO Misfits. We saw it a few times where the game, the play didn't go the way you want, and you just gotta let it go, man.
Yep.
The
Yep.
tower's gone. Teleporting to it as Orion, like
A T3 is crazy.
I can respect the mindset and the idea behind it of wanting to save as much as possible. Like I understand, but like something you just gotta let it go.
Right. As we do see Punch Out going to get spotted in the on the bushes there. I think the call is to kind of push forward onto Pineaholic, but they do have the Weaver Wall, so they should be able to escape no problem.
Oh wait, hold on. I just heard an assistance ping from Moonshot onto the Otacon.
Yeah, I think that's a great call. No, that's a great call. You knew two are bot lane at least where you saw Talea there. So I think this is a great call. Ruinous Atacon is going down 5,000 and ticking. It doesn't seem that any response is coming over from TPO as they're going to trade Atacon for enemy Rid. And honestly, I think that's a fair trade in anyone's book.
Yeah, Otacon for tier 1. I mean, at the very least,
And Red, don't forget.
up for. Well, I mean, you want red, but still. Wait,
Yeah, Lacey just getting jumped here for his lunch money there. Just getting bullied right now. Pine Holic in the cage, but no fear as the ice just gets tossed there. The Cyclone, though, coming from 8,000, is going to match it. They will find a kill, but they are going to lose tier 2.
Yeah, I mean, they find the kill, but as you mentioned, there's a lot of pressure up on this top side. I mean, at least shut down away from Pineaholic. That's a lot of gold going back under your belt, and with how this game has gone, I mean, you need just more gold in general on the side of TPO because, I mean, even with that objective bounty, even with the shutdown, there's still over 4.5K down.
Yeah.
And so it's like, still not. I want to even say not worth, probably, but I see the idea, and you know,
Moonshot jamming in bass right now, bro. Little guitar solo for the homies.
Yeah, but you have to see that from Moonshot. But I see the angle, and the idea is that, well, we don't win the contest. We don't, like, even if we stop tier 2 from going down, we're still just going to slowly beat it. So we have to get something somewhere. And that extra injection of gold, I mean, it might be enough to win these future fights. We'll have to see.
I mean, hopefully. Again, there's a reason why they're playing and we're casting. But coming from a 5K gold deficit is a very difficult position to be. I don't wish anyone to be in that position to have to come back. But if anyone can do it, if any team can do it, it's definitely TPO. And I'm excited to see what they continue to bring to us for the table, as we only have a few seconds here for the third Earth Drake, and this is for Soul Point. It isn't Soul, but for Soul, or it is for it to be in position of Soul Point. As TPO, do you fight this, or do you kind of like, hey, look, this is third Drake, it's not Soul. Let's just try and pick up some of the pieces where we can, and just try and farm up and get a little something in our pocket. Link City, walking into the bush. That is not your neighborhood anymore, my friend. They do not know you around here. We asked, we talked. They said we don't know you, as Moonshot is godlike right now, as TSS rotates over to the third objective uncontested.
Yeah, we saw this a few times in game
right.
Game 1 with Sicko Ghost. Sometimes you just don't recognize the potential amount of damage here, but going back to your earlier point of do they contest or not, I do actually like, I mean, other than Linksy dying there.
Right.
TPO did was recognizing that they still have an objective bounty. They're still so far behind. And that third Drake, yeah, it's Soul Point for TSS, but I mean, if they try contesting it, they just lose the game.
Right.
Right. And so instead of trying to prevent in the grand scheme of things at this point, rather inconsequential. Oh, Orion. Oh no. No,
Ryan, please.
Oh, see, teleporting though.
Wait. Wow, that was looking terrible for the side of TPO, but now it's looking fantastic. AOVS will get caught there. Weaver Wall just a little late there. Just gonna kind of hold them back just a bit. Hey, that's a pick, and hey, like we always like to say, we take those.
We take those, and importantly, that's a shutdown onto OC.
Mm-hmm.
If you want gold, getting that big injection of gold onto the Silver Moonshots, he's trying.
Conquers is procced here. It is a 2v1 situation. The hammer of justice is falling, and it is unisex for anybody. Monkey and void creatures alike. And oh my gosh, Pinaholic gonna pick up a beautiful kill there. That's gonna be a clean 2-0 for this side at TSS.
Yeah. Moonshot is, oh yeah.
That's a hefty metal man, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I know I was saying all the bright points for potential bright spots for the side of TPO of how they might be able to get back to this one, but taking down the jungler and top laner, any sort of steal potential from the Cho'Gath Chomp and the Smite away, nothing else on the map that can really take this. This means that Baron's going to go over to the side of the Spaghetti Spire, and there's just really nothing that TPO Misfits can add. And, you know, it was looking somewhat okay with OC getting all that extra making their way to a shot, which is a huge point for Sivir. But, you know, after that Moonshot, it's kind of...
It's only a few moments left here for... If for the people at home, if they're looking for a TPO victory, they have to do something here and now. They got to find a pick. The pick potential in their composition is there. The pick potential is there. They are able to find those quick one and dones. They need to do it here before TSS really goes into a 1-4-0 situation. Just like that, as you saw, if that cage landed, that would have spelled trouble for TSS. They have the vision. They still have the damage. They need to do something there. Again, as you see with PandaBot, they have the pick potential. They have to use it, though. The pillar is going to go up there. That T2 is going to be demolished there, as 8,000 is going to get caught and noticed onto the back there. He's going to get smited and has to flash away from the troll man himself.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect the flank attempt from 8,000, but you were mentioning about the 1-4-0. Who's going to stop Moonshot?
I don't know.
Genuinely,
I don't know.
I mean, it's another kill for Moonshot. Lynxy was 4 levels down there.
Yeah.
Enemy laner.
Lynxy is now a resident of Brazil. They were visiting, but now they live there indefinitely. Pillars are going down here as the 4-man group of TPO are trying to stop the onslaught. Aggressive push here from TSS, but I think it's just a case again of just too little too late. The master of magnetism in the front, Moonshot, gonna force the backline away. That's gonna be another 2-3 down on their belt, and I think we're seeing the TSS march to victory here as Orion and OC just trying to stop the hemorrhaging here. But again, the stocks are just falling, the base is falling, everything is crumbling as TSS walks away with a clean 2-0. Ladies and gentlemen, you saw it here first.
Yeah, and it felt like it was coming for a while. I was trying to find the bright spots. There were a few moments where it's like, oh, maybe we could wait on OC getting that third item. Maybe we could wait on Orion getting enough stacks. And there were a few moments where it looked like TPO Misfits might have been able to delay it out long enough. But as soon as Moonshot just walked up and killed Lynxy and 8,000,
yeah,
every event from that point, it was just inevitable.
Yeah,
as soon as that happened, and well played from the side of Spaghetti Spire to play this one out cleanly.
Yeah, really, really, GG's well played. A clean 2-0, to say the least. Coming out of the gate, it was very back and forth, but I feel TSS really kind of set the pace, and it coming from the beginning of our Emerald League, I feel what teams kind of really struggle with is kind of coming out of that gate and kind of setting the pace, especially being the first game of the league of the week. That's a lot to come up for, but I think both teams really came out, outshined, and showed off. But TSS just shown a little brighter, as I think we are getting word from upstairs. I think we're going to get an interview in pretty soon of the MVP. If you guys over at chat have any idea of who you want to be or who you think is MVP, be sure to let us know in chat. But we will be coming back with an interview after this small break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Ember Esports. our interviewee of the night, Moonshot. How are you? GG's well played. And I guess, how was your first night here at Ember League?
Hello. Yeah, first night was pretty exciting. Coming back to comp after a little while of break just because of school stuff. But
Okay.
it's good. It's good to be back. It's very good to be back. I enjoy the competitiveness.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. And I want to ask a bit more specific about game one with the option to let Urgot through, knowing that Linksy is like a big Urgot guy.
Mm-hmm.
Were you confident in that, or did you just say, or was that more of a like just let him have it game one sort of thing?
Before draft and all that, we were like, so if we had a pick into it, I could just negate it or like play into it. We have a free ban just in case if something else shows up. So I was like going through matchups with some friends and seeing which one works, and Renekton seemed the best. Unfortunately, I got ganked a few times, so it's like got it behind a little bit, but at the end, I did my job, so that's what pulled out the win.
That's all that matters. It's a little unfortunate when characters like Renekton kind of fall behind, because when you're in the lead with Renekton, you buy longswords. When you're behind on Renekton, you're still buying longswords, and it just hurts. But to come back is not to say the least, and it was really well played that game one. That game two, you guys felt, or it seemed like you guys were a lot more comfortable, to say the least, coming into that game two, and you guys pretty much won. I wouldn't say completely dominantly, but pretty well. What do you have coming into now? You guys are 2-0. You guys are now technically in first for Emerald League. Do you have any future teams that you are concerned about, or any players that you're a little worried going against?
Not necessarily. We're just playing our own game and see where it goes. I played against a former teammate of mine actually tonight. OC, I played with OC a while back, but it was nice to play again for sure. Of course, this new team that I'm on is pretty nice as well. I was trying out not too long ago as well, so I'm the new guy of the group, but so far they've been pretty nice.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, as a new guy, you definitely stepped up tonight. So I definitely think you were the right
appreciate that
top laner. Heck yeah.
And last question for you in this interview. I just want to know, how does it feel to be that far ahead on Mordekaiser, especially to a former teammate? Is that any extra?
It's pretty fun. You just kind of pick your target, choose which one to bring to Brazil, and go from there. Yeah, that's all you do.
You made Cho'Gath a permanent resident at Brazil. You sent that man.
That was not intentional. It just kind of happened.
Many times. Well, overall, GG's well played, Moonshot. We wish you the best of luck in the rest of the league and the season.
Thank you.
As we are kind of moving forward onto this, I think that is it for us today here at Ember Esports. But before you go, if you guys enjoyed us, be sure to go check us out. Our socials, they should be coming down anytime soon. If you guys enjoyed all the action here, be sure to check out x.com/Ember Esports Inc. for all the details of our scheduling. If you have a team that you want to sign up and get your guys in here, if you want to go and check the VODs, be sure to go check out youtube.com/Ember Esports LOL. That is cap right there. Capital LOL there. Instagram also has the cool stories and keeps you following along for the schedule. And you got to go check out the merch store. I was peeking it a little bit during the break. Go check out that hoodie. evo9x.gg/collections/ember-esports. Go get yourself some merch. Go get yourself fresh for next week. With that being said, I am your host, Huey. It is my boy, Isaac, and that is the end of ESL Emerald Week 1. Week 2 on the way, and I cannot wait to be here to bring it to you guys to next week. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and until then, we'll see you then. Peace!